first thing I want you to do is introduce yourself. Tell us how you started out, how you get to love being in the auto industry. I know that you're a motor car enthusiast.
Yeah,
So,
well, I mean, love is a very strong word to use for how I feel about the auto industry.
right. But go ahead,
But
because I know persons who stay in it are the lovers of cars. That's what comes first. And
yeah,
and the customer service grows on you, right?
of course, yeah. Like to be honest, I used to always just be in sales for
Yeah.
like a good portion of my career. As soon as I left high school, I just went straight into a sales job
Right.
until one day I was laid off the second time actually from a sales job because you know
Okay.
how they are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So company wasn't doing too well, whatever, laid me off, and then I was like, you know what, I love cars. So let me just try to get into that, right? So I started doing a co-op, and I was doing it through as at a side shop first, and then I went through Canadian Tire, and then one day, position opened as an advisor. So I figured let me just give that a shot because like I like being I like being an apprentice, but it wasn't it's like it's nice, it's fun to work on your own car,
Yeah.
but when you have to like work on somebody else's car when there's like time restraints and things like that, it wasn't like really a passion for me. So I decided, you know what, I like cars, I love cars, and I like talking with people, and I like communicating with people. So an advisor would be a perfect position, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I became an advisor at Canadian Tire, and then yeah, and then that was it from there.
Okay. But at what age was this? You said
So
straight out of high school?
when I left high school first, I was in sales, and I stayed there for like I was doing sales for a number of years. I didn't start my apprenticeship until I was 24.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, like it just like the apprenticeship, like it just wasn't for me, to be honest. And I liked being an advisor. I decided to just continue with that instead.
But you'd have made so much more if extended that career into a mechanic and becoming a master technician. That's where the big bucks comes in.
Honestly, and I thought about that too, and I always think about that too. Like,
Mhm.
but it's just like at the end of the day, it's money, not really everything. Like the way I look at it is that cars are very like you know it takes a certain finesse to fix a car right and
Yeah.
to fix it on time and things like that, and also to deal with it mentally as well too.
Mhm.
And honestly, like people is just easier to deal with than cars.
Really?
Yeah, which is surprising.
I've never heard it from that approach before, but I mean,
Yeah,
if you're a people person, of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You know, but like a car, you have to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the end of the day, right?
See, so give us a little bit more from Canadian Tire. Where did you move on next?
So I was at Canadian Tire for about a year, no, about 2 years. I was at Canadian Tire, and then I moved to Volkswagen.
Okay.
I was at Volkswagen for a number of years, and then they went through the whole diesel scandal and
Oh yes,
everything that was all going on. So,
yes. Yeah,
so
the
when I
emission
was like,
scandal, yes.
yeah. So when I was working there, like they're going through the whole mission scandal and everything. So after the whole scandal, it was like working at Volkswagen, you're constantly trying to just prove yourself to them that
Yeah.
you're not scamming them, because most people
Mhm.
just they didn't understand the whole emission scandal. They just assume, oh, we're as a customer, I'm just getting scammed by Volkswagen. You know what I mean?
Okay, yes. It left a
So
bad taste in a lot of customers' mouth, right?
exactly.
So
You
they
know
have
what?
to do they had you had to be doing a lot of damage control.
Exactly. And it would be like from, somebody first walks in the door. Oh, like, especially if they had a diesel, they walk through the door and you gotta rate a red carpet for them.
Yeah, yeah. But how has operations changed since you first started out along that journey? What were some of the changes you saw?
So to be honest, like a lot of the drastic changes already kind of taken place when I entered the industry already.
Uh-huh.
So it's so it's hard to really comment on that, but like what I could say is that towards the ending of, you know, of I guess my automotive career, you would say, like it just became more and more again, like even though I was working at a different brand, it just became more and more again of trying to convince people that, you know, you're not trying to rip them off or
Hmm.
things like that.
Hmm.
It didn't become about the cars. It was actually more about the customer service and more about the people
Right, right.
versus fixing the cars itself.
Yeah. Because you are the bridge between the service department, the parts department, and the sales department. Because customer satisfaction, you have to be exhuming that at all times. But
Yeah,
at the same time, no, you have to also exercise and increase the customer retention rate.
yes, yeah. And I feel like nowadays it's a lot more important. Like, you know, before, like, okay, so there's so many shops around now, right?
Yes,
Everywhere you go,
definitely. Yeah,
there's a
the
garage.
competition is
Yeah,
high. Yeah.
competition's so high now. So it's like you have to really, really stand out for, you know, your customers to want to come back, right? Because if it's
Hmm.
about money, like, and you can always find somebody that's willing to do it cheaper, right?
Yeah, 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 definitely. So, what were some of the biggest challenges you encountered while you were an advisor? Because I mean, that's your passion as well, but you must have come across a lot of try to convince
Yes.
people. I
Yeah,
mean, in
yeah,
terms of some of the upselling strategies you have to use to, make the numbers, because of course, the numbers are very important. But
of
what
course.
yeah, what were some of the challenges you encountered?
Well, okay, so number one, it's like in this industry, you can't really, you know, like the way I look at it is like I wasn't ever in the industry to rip people off, but
Hmm.
I always felt like I was like you're always trying to prove that you're not trying to do that again, you know?
Yes, yes.
And like to be honest, I feel like with me a lot because I was a younger guy, that a lot of times, especially when I was working at Canadian Tire, they would think I was just trying to rip them off like all the
Hmm.
time. Like, and I, you know, I would tell people that, you know, if I was in that business, I wouldn't be in the automotive industry because it would actually be really hard to do that in the automotive industry
Yeah.
because everybody has their defenses up,
Mhm.
realistically, right? And yeah, I feel like that's something that I dealt with a lot. And then like, you know, it's trying to convince older people too, or
Mhm.
like trying to show them that maybe what they know isn't as correct as what they
Yeah.
might think.
Yes. Yes.
So
Because
that's
some of them
yeah,
already come with the preconceived notion that they have a certain amount of money to spend. But
exactly.
but when you diagnose the car, then
Yeah,
you realize that A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? A lot more things needed to be done.
exactly.
So
And now some kid is telling you that.
yes.
Right?
Exactly, exactly. So, how do you convince someone much older
Exactly.
than you are? Yeah, yes.
Exactly. So what the one way I worked around it is just knowledge. Knowledge is
Mhm.
power, really and truly. Like I even to this day, like even though I'm not in the industry anymore, I'm constantly interested in the automotive industry. I'm constantly watching videos, doing my research, like just outside of the training that we used to do and things like that, because it's always good to arm yourself with knowledge, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So and that was one big thing that I strived on, and especially because I worked in the back as well too, so it was
Yeah, you
just
have a knowledge of what's going on at all times.
yeah, exactly,
But
for the most part.
tell us a little bit more about your dealership experience. How was it overall?
uh like okay, so I don't, to be honest, it was pretty good, like
Yeah.
from what you're told and from what when I was at Canadian Tire, they used to say, "Oh yeah, the dealership is, you don't want to work at the dealer. Like they're gonna
Hmm.
take advantage of you. They're gonna do this. They're gonna try to make you sell things that you don't need to sell. Like it's all about numbers. Like they put all that in your head, right?
Yes,
And then
yes.
when you actually go there, you realize that it's the complete opposite. The dealership is actually more about the service, the customer service, and
Yeah.
like, yeah, they're about the numbers and things like that. And yeah, of course, we have to, every business you have to hit numbers, but
Mm-hmm.
like how you're hitting it really is what separated for me is what separated like a small shop versus the dealership.